Food insecurity is affecting millions of Americans as the pandemic grips this country. One Vermont program is collaborating with farmers and food producers to help feed families in need. The organization is also helping to keep around 100 restaurants open during the crisis. However, the program's future remains unclear, with funding in limbo as Congress works to pass a new COVID relief bill. Stephanie Bonin is the program director of the Brattleboro hub of Everyone Eats. That's the name of it, and she's joining me now this morning to talk more about the program. So this is a really unique and such a clever idea. You have two groups in need, the restaurant industry, people who are dealing with food insecurity, and you've managed to figure out a way for both to benefit. So tell me a little bit more about the program and, your concerns moving forward with the potential, to run out of money.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. Everyone Eats is a really creative program. And the three pillars of the program is that we have a community that's in need of being fed. And we also have restaurants that are really at their end of how they are possibly going to survive. And so Everyone Eats feeds our community by buying takeout meals from our restaurants, and that 10% of the ingredients of those meals have to come from our local growers, farmers, and food producers. So it really has been just an incredible impact on our state.
So let's talk about sort of these two areas that you're really helping out. The people who find themselves in need of help, they're dealing with food insecurity. Give me a sense of, who's coming to your organization for help. Are these the people that you would have seen prior to the pandemic?
Right. So there has been a huge spike in food insecurity all around our country, and Vermont is no different. And so, yes, you're right that this is a different population. We're seeing a population that are underemployed because of the pandemic and also newly unemployed because of the pandemic. We're also seeing a lot of people come because this pandemic is asking us to take on more than we possibly can. So some of it is mental health issues and being able to make sure that our community is being taken care of when they're, struggling on a daily basis, just to be able to teach their kids at home, be able to do their job remotely, to be able to put a dinner on the table, all of those things. So the impact is very much beyond just the population that was food insecure before the pandemic.
I think that you are bringing up such a great point that often we don't think about. We address issues sort of like puzzle pieces. I fit this piece into the puzzle. You need food. Here's your food. And we don't address all the other things that are negatively impacted when you're worried about whether or not you have enough money for food. So you know that Congress is busy trying to cobble together a relief bill before the end of the year. When it comes to those who are lacking food, what do they need? Part of the debate is should they just sort of hand people a check, give them this time around $600 or $700? What do you think would make the difference?
I don't think that this is an either or scenario. The scale of the pandemic is such that our economic relief scale needs to be more than we've ever done before. So making sure that we obtain state funding like we did on the last economic bill in terms of the CRF funds is essential. The state was able to take that direct funding and be able to know exactly what programs to be able to create or to fund because of an increased need. And so what we need from Congress is to make sure that they continue to fund that state funding. But I want to go back that it's not an either or. Everyone Eats is not an answer to saving our restaurants. Everyone Eats is not an answer to feeding our community exclusively, but it is an absolutely essential part of our program, part of our solution here in Vermont. And I also think it has the ability to scale up. I have communities in Jackson, Michigan that have been looking, and they named their program the Mini Vermont program. I know that Baltimore, Maryland is doing a program like this. So the ability to scale up would be absolutely available for our country.
Stephanie, really quickly, in these negotiations, there's a possibility of putting something in called the Restaurant Act. It would be money specifically for restaurants, different than the sort of money that has been allocated to support other small businesses. With the restaurants that you deal with, can you see how restaurants may need a different program that's not like the Paycheck Protection Program?
Absolutely. The Paycheck Protection Program is acting like a one-size-fits-all solution, fits all, and it doesn't. There are so many different business models out there in the restaurant sector that the PPP program wasn't available for, didn't fit those needs. And so, yes, we're back to that same thing where we need everything, and we need it urgently, and we need it more. The Restaurant Cares Act would be a tremendous step forward in meeting the needs of a sector that is just decimated right now.
Stephanie Bonin, I wish I could talk to you even longer, but we have to go. Thank you so much for giving us a little of your time.
Thank you for having me.